Revealed, how an Arab millionaire's daughter chose an inspiring black housekeeper as her new MOM. Leila's world spun like a glittering carousel, painted in shades of privilege and confusion. In the heart of Chicago, she walked through grand halls adorned with crystal chandeliers, yet her heart felt lighter among the humble laughter echoing from her family's living room. Cold marble beneath her feet offered no warmth, no comfort. Her father, a busy Arab businessman, was often lost within the chaos of meetings, while her mother felt like a ghost lingering somewhere just out of reach. The memory of her faded smile haunted her. Then came Clara. With skin like rich mahogany and a smile that sparkled with resilience, Clara was the family's devoted housekeeper. She swept into Leila's life like a sunbeam, illuminating the dim corners of her existence. Whether it was sharing stories about the tough world outside or cooking the most delicious meals, Clara's presence filled Leila with a warmth she didn't know she craved. Clara had fought battles Leila couldn't fathom, raising her own children with determination in a world that often overlooked them. Together, they laughed over hot biscuits and sweet tea, weaving a bond that felt more potent than blood, but their innocent laughter soon attracted the shadows of a scandal that loomed over Leila's family. Whispers of disgrace painted her father in a harsh light, threatening to tarnish their family name. As the walls of their mansion felt like they were closing in on her, a harsh command slipped from her father's lips: "You must stay away from Clara." Her heart cracked. Clara was her anchor, the only adult who really understood her. Distancing herself felt like ripping out a piece of her soul. Weeks passed like storm clouds, heavy with sadness. Bullying at school added to her turmoil. "Arab princess," they sneered, throwing words that stung like bee stings. Clara's stories often echoed in her mind, tales of overcoming and standing tall against past injustices. When Clara was belittled by her father's snooty colleagues, something inside Leila snapped. The anger burned hot, igniting a fire in her heart that had slept far too long. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In an act of defiance, Leila squared her shoulders and confronted her father. "Clara is more family than anyone else in this house," she shouted, her voice trembling with a potent mix of fear and courage. "How can you think she is less?" The silence that followed felt heavier than a mountain. Could she redefine what family meant in a world so shackled to blood and status? As the confrontation unfolded, the air crackled with tension. Her father's gaze burned with disbelief and anger, while Leila felt something shift deep within her. Hope and fear entwined themselves in a dance that left her breathless. Would she have the strength to choose a loving connection over societal approval? The question hung in the air, magnetic and haunting, drawing her towards a future full of uncertainty. How would she find her place in this bright, chaotic world? The moment hung in the air, like a thick fog refusing to lift. Leila's heart raced as she faced her father, the man whose expectations had wrapped around her like a shroud. She saw the fury flicker in his eyes and felt a tremor of doubt. Had she gone too far? Had her voice lost the battle against years of obligation? But as the silence stretched thin, a glimmer of something more profound filled the space between them. A flicker of recognition perhaps, or something akin to regret? Before she could ponder further, her father took a step back, his expression morphing into a blend of indignation and confusion. "You don't understand," he barked. "Clara is not one of us." The words hit Leila like a slap. Each syllable exposed a wound she thought she had already wrestled to the ground. Deep down, she had always known her family's hierarchy, but hearing it spoken so vehemently fractured something within her. As she desperately tried to keep her composure, Clara's laughter echoed in her mind, a balm for her beating heart. Clara did understand, far more than her father ever would. Maybe you don't understand what family really is. Leila spat back, her frustration igniting a fresh wave of determination. It's not about blood or status. It's about love, support, and the people who lift you up. The words came rushing out, each one more fearless than the last, almost as if they had broken free of the cage she kept them in. Her father's brows furrowed deeper, and for a moment, Leila feared he might explode. But he stood there, fists clenched, allowing the words to sink into the core of his being. The cool air was thick with unresolved tension, yet, somewhere beneath the anger, there was uncertainty, the first inkling that perhaps he was beginning to see her side. I am simply trying to protect our family, he muttered, almost quietly, as if his own conviction had begun to crack. Protect it from what? Leila's voice was softer now, but the fire remained. From love? She took a step closer, feeling the world tilt around her. You think pushing Clara away will shield us from gossip? You're wrong. All it does is make us feel more alone. As if struck by lightning, his expression shifted, vulnerable yet hard to read. You think I don't want you to have a real family? He challenged, a quiver inching into his tone. Yes. Leila exclaimed, the floodgates of emotions spilling over. You're the one who's breaking us apart. For a moment, Leila's heart raced, her breath caught inside her chest. The stakes had never felt higher. Would this be the day they either shattered or reconciled? At that moment, a soft knock at the door broke through the storm brewing between them. Clara, with her familiar warmth and kindness, entered the room. The tension thickened, but for Leila, the sight of Clara felt like a lifeline. Lunch is ready, Clara said gently, sensing the charged atmosphere. Her eyes flickered between Leila and her father, silently gauging the depth of their conflict. Dad, Leila whispered, preparing to take a leap of faith she had never expected to make, please, let her in. Just this once. As her father's gaze darted between them, the weight of their situation loomed large. Could he embrace the possibility of change? Could he let a bond of love and understanding unfold right before him? The silence felt interminable. Would it erupt into fury, or could it pave the way for something deeper? In that moment of tense anticipation, Leila held her breath, praying for the courage to redefine what family meant. Her heart balanced precariously at the edge of hope and fear. What would her father choose? Would love triumph over prejudice? The tension in the air felt like static, making the moment stretch. Clara stood in the doorway, eyes wide, uncertainty etched across her face. Leila's heart pounded louder, a drum echoing her desperate wish for her father to reconsider. It was a moment steeped in potential, but the outcome felt utterly unpredictable. Dad, Leila's voice broke through the fragile silence, the urgency in her tone unmistakable. Clara is important to me. She's part of my life, part of who I am. You can't just push that away. Her father shifted uncomfortably, a small muscle in his jaw tightening as though he were fighting an unseen battle. The sight made Leila's breath hitch. Did he realize how much he was risking? Did he see how his stubbornness was a wall between them, blocking everything that mattered? I don't know if I can accept this, he murmured, more to himself than to them. His eyes darted to Clara, who remained quietly poised, her hands clasped in front of her, ready but nervous. Dad, it's not just about accepting Clara. It's about accepting me, Leila said, drawing on a depth of emotion she didn't even know she possessed. It's about accepting a version of our family that's bigger than tradition and expectation. I deserve to feel whole, and right now, with Clara, I feel like my real self. The contours of his face shifted, brow furrowing deeper as if he were trying to calculate the consequences of her words. Leila's heart leaped. Was there a chance? A flicker of hope threaded through her thoughts like a shooting star across a midnight sky. Leila, he started, his voice barely a whisper, and then he paused. Clara's breath quickened, and Leila saw a hint of disappointment flicker in her eyes. Had she gotten her hopes up too high? What if she brings shame to our family? He finally muttered, the weight of his own fears surfacing, blocking the light of understanding. The rejection landed heavily in the room. It was a blow, sharp and uncompromising. "Clara is not shame," Leila said fiercely, punctuating each word with an urgency she felt deep in her chest. "What's shameful is hiding from love and pretending we're something we're not. It's not all about public perception, it's about real connections." Clara stepped forward, her calm voice cutting through the clamor of emotions. "Sir, I respect your concerns," she began, trying to bridge the chasm that had widened with every heartbeat. "But my love for Leila is real. We've built something good together. I want to be part of this family, to lift her up, not tear her down." The fight in her words resonated deeply, but still, doubt flickered in Leila's father's gaze. It was as if he stood on the brink of an immense cliff, hesitant to leap into uncharted waters. "Please," Leila said softly, stepping in front of Clara, allowing their shared bond to shine. "Just look past the stereotypes. See Clara for who she truly is, a loving, nurturing soul who deserves a place here." With every plea, with every hope hanging in the air, Leila could see him struggle. His internal conflict lay bare, a riddle he couldn't quite solve. Clara's hand brushed against Leila's, a reassuring squeeze that sent warmth surging through her. The closeness fortified her nerves, but her heart was pounding painfully, desperately waiting for a decision that felt both near and impossibly distant. Finally, her father sighed deeply, as if all the air had been knocked from his lungs. The moment hung like a pendulum, and Leila held her breath, feeling the world tilt precariously on its axis. "Maybe," he began, uncertainty lacing his voice. "Maybe we need to talk more, really talk." Relief brushed over Leila like a gentle wind, but before she could respond, his expression darkened again. "But if this is to be the new family, what does that mean for how we've lived until now?" Just like that, the intrigue wrapped around them once more. Questions lingered thick in the air, leaving Leila torn between hope and apprehension. The future felt like a tightrope, and she, uncertain if she would find balance. Could they all navigate this new path together, or would they stumble before they even began? As her heart raced with the possibilities, Leila knew one thing for certain: change was coming, but at what cost? Leila stood frozen, her mind racing as she processed her father's words. It was a tableau filled with potential, each of them on the brink of something that could either mend or rupture the very fabric of their family. Clara's hand still rested against her own, a grounding force, as if their connection could dissipate the uncertainty lingering like a storm cloud overhead. "Well, what does that mean?" Leila asked, her voice steady despite the tempest of emotions swirling inside her. "Do you want to talk about it now? Honestly, I mean. We can't just skirt around the issue like this is some normal family meeting." Her father ran a hand through his hair, a gesture Leila could read like a book. He was trying to process, to hold back the flood of feelings that threatened to overflow. I don't want to hurt you," he finally said. Clara took a breath and stepped closer. "It's not about pain right now, it's about understanding. Understanding who we all are." Leila felt a spark of gratitude for Clara's tethering presence, the way she rooted the moment in sincerity. "We all make choices that come from who we are," Leila said, her heart swelling. "And sometimes, those choices may seem strange or different to others. But they're still our choices." The weight in the room felt lighter. Still, her father's gaze shifted between the two of them, a man torn between tradition and the truth of his daughter's heart. "You found love in unexpected places," he said slowly. "But all I've known is what I've been taught. I can't just change everything overnight." "We're not asking for overnight change," Clara interjected, her tone calm yet resolute. "Just a moment to explore this new chapter. To give it a chance." The room was thick with his thoughts. Leila wished she could take the turmoil away. Clarifying the love that stitched their lives together felt like peeling away layers of old paint to uncover a vibrant new color beneath. She stepped forward, her eyes locking onto her father's. "I love her, Dad. I want you to understand that this isn't just a phase or a whim. Clara is my support, my joy. You should at least see that. His eyes softened, flickering with a vulnerability that was often hidden behind bravado. You make it sound so easy, he murmured. But, what if the world doesn't see it that way? What if? What if the world learned to? Leila shot back, not in anger, but with fervor. What if we show them? What if we take this moment and make it ours? Our love starts here, in this room. We can redefine it together. A small silence fell, filled only by their breaths. Leila could feel Clara's heart beating next to hers, a harmonious echo of hope. Would he let them? Would he acknowledge that love might look different than he always imagined? Finally, her father exhaled a shaky breath, the last defenses crumbling. Okay, he said tentatively. Let us talk. But I want to understand where you both are coming from. I need to hear your thoughts. All of them. The rush of relief washed over Leila. The road ahead would surely be complicated, but they'd take the first step together. This was the moment of truth, her family starting to fracture, perhaps, but perhaps also unfolding. Could love truly knit their differences together? Thank you, she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. As they settled into this newfound conversation, a wave of warmth flooded the room. Yet apprehension still laced the air. Questions lay waiting in the shadows. How would their old dynamics shift? And what would it really mean to embrace this new identity they were building together? As they began to unravel their thoughts, the true challenge loomed on the horizon. Would they be able to rise above judgment and criticism from others? Or would outside forces test them in ways they couldn't predict? With hearts vulnerable yet hopeful, Leila and Clara leaned in, ready to find out what lay ahead. But as they opened their hearts, another voice broke through, one more unexpected than any of them anticipated. Maybe we should all take a moment and breathe, a surprised neighbor called from just outside the door. The tension escalated again, and Leila felt a wave of dread wash over her. What were they going to do now? The unexpected voice startled everyone. Leila turned to look toward the door, her breath catching in her throat. It was Mrs. Thompson, the elderly neighbor who often stopped by for a chat about weather or pies. Leila hadn't realized anyone could hear them. Someone was outside? Her father asked, his face a mix of confusion and irritation. Yes, and I thought I heard some commotion, Mrs. Thompson said, peeking into the room. Her eyes widened as she took in the scene. Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean to intrude. Stay, please, Clara said, her voice edged with an unexpected firmness. If you've heard even part of this conversation, you can help us make sense of it. Leila appreciated Clara's assertiveness. The looming presence of Mrs. Thompson felt like a strange lifeline. If this conversation was going to change everything, maybe they needed an outside perspective. Her father shifted uncomfortably, glancing between the two women. This isn't, he started, but Clara interrupted. No, it is, she insisted, her voice steady. We need to be open. This is about understanding who we are. Perhaps Mrs. Thompson can help us see from a different angle. Leila's heart raced as she met Clara's gaze. Clara was right, this was the moment to dive deeper into the truth they held. All right then, her father sighed, sinking into a chair, his shoulders heavy with the weight of the moment. Let us not drag it out. Mrs. Thompson, please, what do you think? Well, Mrs. Thompson began slowly, her brow furrowed as if she were rehearsing each word. I've seen love in many forms. My best friend growing up was a girl from a different culture. At first, my family wasn't sure. But what I learned was love doesn't care about skin or lineage. It cares about respect and understanding. Leila felt her heart flutter at the neighbor's words. Hope was a fragile thing, but it was building steadily. Exactly. Clara interjected, her enthusiasm sparkling through the room. See, it's about what we choose to focus on. You can't box love into what you've always been taught. It evolves, just like us. Mrs. Thompson nodded vigorously. Love is not just feeling, it's action. It's choosing to stand by someone, regardless of the storm. I know that. Leila's father finally exclaimed, the tremor in his voice betraying his efforts to remain strong. But it's different when it's your own child. It breaks tradition, it destabilizes a view of the world. What will the family say, the society? To hell with what society thinks. Leila almost shouted, her voice shaking with a mix of passion and fear. This is my life. I can't live it just to please others. We're here for a reason. Dad, I want you to be part of this. I need you to see Clara through my eyes. There was a long silence. The air was thick, charged with unsaid words. Clara squeezed Leila's hand tighter. It was a lifeline. Mrs. Thompson broke the silence. You know, sometimes the things we hold onto so tightly can suffocate what's beautiful and true. Letting go doesn't mean losing something. It means opening the door to how much bigger love can be. Leila's father looked at her, his expression softening. You both have so much hope, he whispered. The phone ringing broke the moment, echoing through the tension. Leila shifted her focus, uncertain whether to take this break as a distraction or as a chance to breathe. Was this their last chance to confront the reality of their conversation before it changed irrevocably? Should I get that? She asked, unsure. No. Her father said, lifting a hand to halt her. Whatever that call is can wait. We need to face this. Together. Mrs. Thompson gave a small, encouraging smile, a glimpse of resolve in her eyes. The world outside could wait. They had a deeper battle at hand, one that would define not just them, but the future they were willing to fight for. But amidst their growing daring, a knock on the door interrupted once more. This time, it was louder, as if someone was intent on getting through. Anxiety prickled the back of Leila's neck. Who else could be joining them now? As they shared glances filled with uncertainty, each of them sensed that this day was far from over. What more revelations awaited them? What challenges lay in the shadows, just waiting to be uncovered? The knock came again, more insistent this time, sending vibrations through the stillness of the room. Leila's heart raced as she exchanged nervous glances with Clara and Mrs. Thompson. Her father's brow furrowed deeper, a storm brewing behind his eyes as he slowly stood up. Who could that be? He muttered more to himself than anyone else. Do you want me to get it? Leila asked, her voice slightly shaky. No, Clara interjected, her calm gaze shifting toward the door. Let me. Leila felt a surge of admiration for Clara. The fear that had clutched at Leila's heart slipped just a bit when she saw that glint of determination in Clara's eyes. They weren't alone in this fight. They had each other. Clara crossed the room and opened the door just wide enough to peer through the crack. Yes? She asked, her voice steady. Is Leila there? A man's voice came through, somewhat muffled but undeniably familiar. It was Jamal, Leila's old friend from high school. Leila felt a rush of confusion. Jamal? Here? She hadn't seen him in years. Would he even want to see her now, given everything? Just a moment, Clara replied, moving back to let Jamal in but hesitating. We were in the middle of something rather important. Jamal stepped inside and closed the door behind him. The moment his eyes landed on Leila, they widened. Whoa. What is going on? You look different. Good different. Like ready to take on the world. His smile radiated warmth, but his expression shifted as he noticed the tension in the air. But you're in the middle of something serious? Leila could sense her father's anxiety rising again. Jamal, maybe this isn't a good time, he said, his voice still firm but losing some of its edge. No, it's fine, Leila interrupted, her mind racing. Jamal, you came at a perfect time. Okay? His brow knitted in concern as he noted the group's expressions. Am I interrupted? Jamal, this is it's complicated, she said, glancing at Clara and Mrs. Thompson. We're working through some stuff about love and family. Leila's father cleared his throat. We are discussing some very personal matters, Jamal. Perhaps another time it's okay, Jamal said, his eyes darting between everyone. I'm here for you, Leila. Always have been. This reassurance pushed her emotions to a tipping point. She felt both vulnerable and emboldened by his presence. I'm standing up for what I believe in. About who I love. She glanced at Clara, drawing strength. And needing my family to understand. Jamal's expression shifted, softening. You know love is tough. It challenges who we are, but it can also change us for the better. A small hope flickered within Leila. Could Jamal help bridge this gap? Could he help her father see that love isn't meant to fit a mold? Yeah, her father said, a reluctant acknowledgement forming on his lips. But this doesn't just affect you, Leila. It touches all of us. Exactly, Clara said. The more we talk, the more we grow. This isn't just about getting acceptance, it's about understanding. Jamal's voice cut through the rising tension. Then let us talk. I'm here for you, Leila, for whatever you need. The air crackled with possibility, but before Leila could savor it, there was another knock, more urgent this time. What now? Her father muttered, annoyance creeping into his voice. As they all turned to the door, Leila felt anticipation sweep over her. Was this just the beginning? Who else was waiting on the other side? When the door swung open again, it revealed a woman Leila never expected to see on her doorstep. The unmistakable figure of her estranged mother stood there, her expression unreadable but filled with determination. Leila, her mother said, voice steady yet gentle. We need to talk. Leila's heart dropped as she stood frozen in disbelief. The woman who had once walked out on her life now stood at the door, as real and present as the emotions swirling inside her. Clara's hand instinctively reached out, squeezing Leila's in silent support, while Jamal remained a watchful presence beside them. Mom? Leila finally managed, her voice barely a whisper. Questions raced through her mind. Why now? What did she want? Her mother stepped inside, the air thickening around them as she closed the door behind her. I know this is unexpected, she said, nudging the space between them with her presence. But I've come to explain and to apologize. Leila's breath hitched. Apologies meant nothing without action. You left, her voice trembled, a mixture of pain and anger surfacing. You chose to leave me with Dad. Was I not worth sticking around for? Her mother's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. You have to understand, Leila, I was scared. I thought leaving would make things easier for you. But it was the wrong choice. Jamal stepped closer to Leila, his expression firm. You can't just come back into someone's life like nothing happened, he said, glancing at Leila, then back at her mother. You need to earn that trust again. I know, her mother replied, her voice wavering. I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to listen, to understand who you've become. Leila felt rage mingle with a flicker of hope. I'm not the little girl you left behind. I've grown, I've fought for my voice. And now, I need my family to understand who I love. She shot a glance at Clara, feeling the strength of their bond resonate in the space between her and her mother. Love isn't just about blood. It's about connections, about the people who stand by you. Her mother's expression shifted, a mixture of curiosity and regret. Tell me about her, she said softly. Tell me about your love. As Leila began to recount the story of how she and Clara met, the suffocating tension in the room began to change. The more she spoke, the lighter the air around her felt. Clara's hand remained tightly in hers, grounding her as she navigated through the emotional maze of her feelings. I'm scared of losing my family too, her mother admitted, her gaze unwavering. But I want to be part of your life again, Leila. If you'll let me. Before Leila could respond, her father stepped forward, his arms crossed tightly. This isn't just about a reunion. This is about the hurt you've caused. You need to understand that it's not easy to just accept you back. I don't expect it to be, John. But I'm here to try, her mother replied, her voice steady, her gaze now on him. Leila glanced between her parents, feeling stirred by their tension. In this fragile moment of vulnerability, could they all find common ground? Could her mother start to embrace her choices, or was this just another hollow promise? A moment passed, punctured only by a deep breath taken by the group as they tried to find the right words. The silence hung thick, charged with years of disappointment, but alive with a glimmer of something new, a chance to rebuild, but at what cost? Leila? Jamal's voice broke through the stillness. What do you truly want now? Her heart raced once more, pounding louder than ever as she realized the weight of the question. Would she choose to pursue this potential reconciliation, or would she take a step back, prioritizing the new family she had fought so hard to create? As Leila opened her mouth to answer, the doorbell rang again, cutting through the tension with its jarring chime. All eyes turned toward the door, and a chill crawled up Leila's spine. Who could possibly be arriving now? Leila's heart skipped a beat as the doorbell echoed in her mind. The unexpected arrival felt like a twist in the plot, adding an already complicated layer of emotion. She glanced at her mother, who seemed to freeze, as if she too sensed the weight of the moment. Jamal's brow furrowed with concern, and even Clara looked momentarily bewildered. Should I get the door? Clara asked, but her voice trembled slightly, betraying the uncertainty hanging in the air. Yes, Leila urged, her voice steadier than she felt. Please. Clara stepped forward, releasing Leila's hand reluctantly, and turned the doorknob. The hinges creaked. As the door swung open, a swirl of autumn leaves danced in the slight breeze, revealing an unexpected visitor. It was Mrs. Thompson, their neighbor, an elderly woman with silver hair styled into a neat bun and eyes sparkling with warmth. She clutched a basket brimming with baked goods, the familiar scent of cinnamon wafting into the room. I thought I'd bring over some treats, she said, her voice light and cheerful, though her warm gaze shifted to the tense atmosphere. I hope I'm not interrupting anything important. Not at all, Mrs. Thompson, Clara said quickly, relief flooding through her. Leila sighed inwardly, grateful for the small distraction. Mrs. Thompson had always been a staple in her life, a mother figure in her own right during those lonely days when her own mother was absent. The moment felt oddly comforting amid chaos. As they welcomed the elderly woman inside, Leila could see her mother study her with an expression of confusion. What would she think of the people who had filled the gaps left by her absence? Would she understand the depth of Leila's connection to Clara and the care offered by Mrs. Thompson? Clara returned to Leila's side, a knowing look passing between them. It was as if they both understood the underlying message. Family could take many forms. With Mrs. Thompson now in the room, the tension lightened, if only slightly. She began to regale them with stories of the neighborhood, interjecting humor that dissolved the suffocating silence. Leila found herself laughing more than she thought she could, even as her blood boiled underneath with the rawness of the situation. Gradually, the mood shifted, yet Leila felt her heart tugging at her. The elephant still loomed in the room, her mother's sudden return and the unresolved hurt. The moment of breath and lightness couldn't mask the storm brewing inside her. Leila, her mother finally spoke, her voice trembling, drawing everyone's attention back to her. Can we talk? Just you and me? Leila clenched her jaw, the fear of reopening old wounds surfacing. Her mind raced. Should she step away from the comfort of her makeshift family, even just for a moment? She sought support in Clara's eyes. Clara gave a slight nod, an unspoken encouragement, a reminder that she wouldn't be alone. Okay, Leila relented, steeling herself. Let us talk. As Leila walked toward the back patio with her mother, the others left behind them, the door was eerily still. The air felt charged, and a knot tightened in Leila's stomach. Would this conversation bring closure or deeper wounds? Maybe this is where we begin to truly heal, her mother said softly, her voice trembling just like the leaves outside, but as they reached the patio, Leila realized the truth. Healing demanded honesty, and she wasn't sure if she was ready to face the truths of their past. Together, they stood under the fading light, aware that time was slipping away, and with it, their opportunity for clarity. What would she say? The question loomed heavily, as if the very world paused around them, waiting for her response. As Leila took a deep breath, ready to confront the past, her phone vibrated in her pocket. The unexpected buzz cut through the tension like a knife. She hesitated. Who could be reaching out at this moment of reckoning? Glancing at her phone, she saw Clara's name flashing across the screen. Was it a distraction, or perhaps a lifeline she desperately needed? Leila hesitated, the phone vibrating with urgency in her palm. It jolted her thoughts, tearing at the thin layer of calm she had crafted over the last few moments. Clara's name loomed brightly, a beacon that both tempted and terrified her. Do you need to take that? Her mother asked, her tone softening, eyes flickering with something resembling concern. No, Leila said, her voice firmer than she felt. She shook her head slightly and tucked the phone back into her pocket, forcing her attention back to the woman standing before her. The air was thick with unsaid words, layers of hurt woven into an intricate tapestry of memories, each thread tugging at Leila's heart. Why now? She finally pushed through clenched teeth. Why did you leave? Her mother's expression faltered. She began, her voice trembling. You were so young. I thought it was for the best. Didn't he think what? Leila cut in, her voice sharper than she intended. That I would need you? That I would want you? You just disappeared. The moment hung heavy between them. A bird scolded from a nearby branch, echoing the tension. Leila fought against the swell of emotions threatening to rise like a tide within her. Her mother took a cautious step forward, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. I made mistakes, Leila. But I'm here now. Can we at least try to talk about it? Talk about what? Leila snapped, taking a step back as overwhelming feelings crashed over her. The years of silence? The anger? You think it's that easy? She needed to reclaim her ground, the walls she had built were there for a reason. I want to understand, her mother pleaded softly, to understand you, to understand where we stand. And in that quiet plea, Leila saw a flicker of hope. Was it possible that her mother truly meant it? But she felt the heavy chains of doubt pressing down on her. You could have reached out. You could have tried. Silence enveloped them again, heavy and sticky, as Leila's thoughts churned. All those years of longing, the tantrums of youth, the quiet tears in the night. Did her mother even know how much she had lost? Suddenly, clarity struck like a flash of lightning. You say you want to understand me, but can you really? Can you understand the love I found in my friends, in the family we created without you? In Clara and Mrs. Thompson? Her mother's brow furrowed, the weight of Leila's words grounding her while also pulling her away. I want to, she murmured, hesitation marking her features. The softness in her mother's voice sparked something in Leila, a warmth battling against the cold edges of resentment. Perhaps they could start. But the question remained, could they build a bridge strong enough to support both hearts battered by time and choices? I don't know if I can let you back in, Leila admitted, her voice thick with vulnerability. It's going to take time. Her mother nodded, understanding woven into the lines of her face. Time is what we have now, isn't it? If you're willing to give me a chance, I will do everything I can to earn it. Leila inhaled sharply, every fiber of her being desperate to reject the offer and yet yearning for the connection they could have. The sunset painted the sky orange and pink, a canvas of hope mixed with fear and unresolved pain. Before she could respond, Leila felt her phone buzz again. This time, her curiosity got the better of her. What if it was Clara needing her? What if it was something important, something they couldn't afford to miss? Pulling her phone from her pocket, she glanced down at the screen. Again, it was Clara, and underneath her name flashed a word, emergency. Leila's breath hitched. What could possibly be happening? With mounting anxiety, she turned back to her mother, the conversation left hanging. I need to take this, she said, her heart racing. Would this be the moment her world tilted once more, pulling her away from her mother, or would it lead her to a place she didn't expect? The pause left a lingering tension in the air, the door to their conversation still ajar. And just as she swiped to answer, she wondered, could whatever was happening change everything once again? The world felt different as Leila rushed down the hallway, the sound of her phone vibrating a frantic call for attention. Clara's voice echoed in her mind, forming a lifeline, an unyielding thread pulling her away from the confrontation with her mother that hung heavily behind her. She pressed the phone to her ear, her heart pounding with dread. Leila. We need you. Now. Clara's voice held an urgency that was unmistakable. What's wrong? Leila's stomach nodded. All thoughts of reconciliation slipped away, swallowed by instinctual concern for the woman who had become so central to her life. It's your father, he's struggling. Clara's words tumbled out, each one delivering a jolt to Leila's heart. You need to come quickly. Struggling how? What do you mean? Leila felt time stretch and bend in that moment, the color draining from the world around her as she tried to comprehend. He's upset. It's all too much. He's in the living room, and he needs you, Clara said softly, pain edging her voice. The atmosphere in Leila's chest transformed from confusion to a sharp pang of worry. She dashed back toward the living room, her mind racing. She drew in a breath, steadied her heart, and as she stepped into the room, she found her father standing uncertainly, his strong facade cracking under pressure. Mrs. Thompson sat nearby, her warm presence soothing as she murmured gentle consolations. Jamal stood next to Clara, both their faces mirroring the sentiment. They were there for whatever would unfold. Dad? Leila's voice trembled as he turned to face her. I can't do this, Leila, he finally admitted, tears glistening in his eyes, trembling on the edge of acknowledgement. I feel like everything I've built is falling apart. Leila's heart ached as she crossed the space towards him, her own hesitation breaching the gap. She reached out, cupping his face gently, meeting his gaze with steady eyes. But we don't have to let it fall, Dad. We can build something new, together. He looked at her with disbelief, almost staggering under the weight of what she proposed. But this is so different. So against everything that I've known. We can redefine it. Tradition can become love. Family can venture beyond expectations, Leila whispered, emotion coursing through her veins. You taught me to be brave, Dad. Let us be brave together. As Leila spoke, a flicker of hope ignited in the rigid lines of his face. Keeping her eyes steady, she glanced at Clara, who nodded supportively from the other side of the room, her smile radiating warmth that filled the air. The room held its breath, as if waiting for his decision. What if he began hesitantly, but Leila interrupted, her voice soft but unwavering. Then let us talk about love. About who I choose, who we can choose to be together. In that charged moment, Mrs. Thompson stood, bringing out a plate of treats. Nothing mends a broken heart better than a cookie, she said with a knowing smile, breaking the tension that hung overhead. Her simple act brought a wave of laughter, light seeping in where shadows had loomed. See? Clara chimed in, her voice dripping with hope. Love us in the little things, in the courage to lean in and listen. She stepped forward to stand beside Leila, her expression one of vulnerability and strength harmonized, with the realization dawning, something shifted within Leila's father. A deeper understanding ignited behind his weary eyes. I want to understand, he said, looking at Clara and then Leila. Maybe I've been looking all wrong at all of this. Leila's heart soared as a blend of relief and joy enveloped her. It wasn't about accepting or denying, it was about growing, understanding, and nurturing the bonds that love forged. With trembling hands, he reached forward, touching Clara's shoulder, letting the boundaries between them dissolve. "Okay," he whispered. "Let us talk." Leila felt the rush of warmth envelop her, a collective sigh of relief escaping not just her lips, but from everyone around her, a moment of clarity, of transformation, where love overshadowed fear. As they began to talk and share stories, the room filled with laughter and heartfelt confessions. In that space, they shared not just fear and hope, but dreams and possibilities, each revelation weaving them closer together. And though Leila's mother remained outside, unsure of how to step in, Leila suddenly felt ready to face her. "Mom," she said suddenly, turning towards the back door where her mother stood waiting. "Why don't you come in?" The moment hung in the air, an essence of choice and offer. A united front, a declaration of love that all hands could join, as they faced the complexities together. As her mother entered, uncertain but brave, the warmth pooled around them, and the arc of old tensions bent under the power of compassion and acceptance. Love stood tall amidst doubts, offering what no words could fully capture, a promise to be there, to understand, and to embrace all that life presented. In that room filled with both shadows and light, Leila realized something profound. She could make a choice to reshape her family, her love, her truth in ways beyond what expectations defined. And as laughter bubbled up and stories flowed freely, the future expanded before her like the wide-open sky, limitless and sparkling with the promise of everything possible. Now was the moment for everyone to choose love anew. If you believe in transformation and the power of love to heal, you need to subscribe right now. This is the moment to show your support and to never miss any exclusive stories like this. Please, leave a like now to feed the algorithm and ensure more people can experience this journey with us. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. What did it inspire in you? And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Together, we can spread this message far and wide and let love triumph over all.